Yo, what's going on, everyone? Toshi coming at you for brand new Order Gear Fusion video. Today's video, we'll be going over the 3 units that are coming out in this patch, all of which are going to be very, very hard to skip. Very strong units in their regard, such as Sakabula, a very, very solid Madoka replacement, or maybe you just don't like the lolly design, like me, then I think Sakabula might be a good choice. And then we have Victoria and we have Isabel. We'll go over all 3 of them and whether or not you should pick them up or skip them, mostly for whales, but free to play too if you just like summoning for the characters. Okay, so I do have construction going on in the background. If you do hear it, I apologize. The show must go on, so I still chose to record. But anyways, I have Sakabula on the screen in front of you all. Sakabula, the Bobby waifu indeed. She's going to be a very, very strong, solid Madoka replacement. Might even be better than Madoka in some compositions. We'll have to see. But we'll take a look at the kit here. So, the S1 is a single target attack and it causes an anti-heal. That's all you really need to know. And then the S2, so whenever an ally or an enemy dies on the field, she will cleanse herself a 1 debuff. She will increase her energy by 10. So she's an energy based unit. She will lower all skill cooldowns by 1 round. And then she will grant herself a barrier based on 60% of her total attack. For every 1 point in energy, her attack will increase by 1%. So that alone lets you know that the barrier damage, like the barrier consumption increase, right? And then the attack increase will both play into one another by her energy, right? And then you see here with these skill ups, you actually increase the barrier amount proportionate, by the percentage. And then here, the S3. This is the kicker. So the S3 deals damage to all enemy targets and causes an attack down for 2 turns. That is very, very strong. And then the cooldown of the skill will reset when the skill hits a target, or kills a target rather, excuse me. So, whenever, it's like Movis, with fire her S2, Movis S2, whenever she kills a target, the skill cooldown is actually, reset. Whereas this case, Sakabula's S3 will reset whenever you kill an enemy target, which is insane, right? Now, you are punished for it because it is on with skill ups, a 5-turn cooldown. If you do not kill a target with it, that is a very long cooldown, so you are punished. So you definitely want to have decent gear on the character. However, need not be afraid because the damage is actually increased via the energy she has due to her passive. So if she has 50 energy, if she has 50 energy, then she'll get a 100% damage max bonus, right? So the damage increase is 2% every point energy she has. So when she hits 50 energy, then she'll have 100% damage increase, and that's the max you can hit, which is actually insane. It's gonna hit really hard. She has very nice speed, 115 base speed, so she'll be nice in fairly fast teams, and you could probably put in a bruiser team like I would. I think she'd be good there too. She has attack imprints, right, for the whales. So these are her ratings: SS for PvE, SS for PvP. Very, very strong unit. And then this is her design for you waifu mommy enjoyers. You Pravonius fans, you'll like this one too. Next up, we have Isabel. Isabel is going to be a tactical blue unit, meaning she's going to be a unit that provides debuffs and utilities for the team. And to the enemy team, of course, right? Debuffs and whatnot. So, her S1 actually deals damage to a single target, and there's a 50% chance to either cause attack down, defense down, or blind. So you'll get one of the 3 debuffs, 50% chance, but with scopes it turns out to be a 75% chance, but it's random, so you don't know which one you're going to get. But those are all 3 very, very good debuffs. I would say the blind is not too, I mean, it's okay, but it is random, 50%. I don't like RNG too much, but it's still there. It's decent, I guess. However, her S2 is an active skill, so it deals damage to all enemies, 84.8%. Not that much damage, but it deals damage to all enemies. There's 60% chance of causing attack down and a blind for 2 rounds. I think the attack down is very good, and the blind is okay, it also helps out as well. But this is applied to all enemies, assuming it hits, right? Because unlike Lobelia, this unit can miss the debuffs if she hits a target that she misses, right? And then the chance does go up to a 85% chance for both the attack down and the blind via the skill ups. And then her S3, Very, very strong ability. So it inflicts 160% damage, decent damage to all enemy targets, removes all buffs on the targets, right? And she increases her own action bar by 50%. She causes a buff block on all targets for 2 rounds and has a 70% chance to cause defense down for 2 rounds. So that is very overloaded. Need not to say. She strips and then she increases her own action bar, that she provides a buff block, and then she has an defense down as well. So if you are using your characters on immunity, just don't. Stop running immunity. It's not good. I don't think anyone here runs immunity anymore, but yeah, just don't. 117 base speed, pretty fast. I don't know what's the highest. I don't think that's the highest base speed in the game. I could be wrong, but 117 is pretty fast, man. That's pretty fast. Her imprints is status accuracy, which is very nice for a unit you probably want to put a lot of speed on, right? Overall, very nice PvE, PvP unit. But PvE is probably her sweet spot because of the defense down, the attack down, the blind, right? And just overall being able to turn cycle too. Very nice. And then her UE, which we probably won't get for a while, but the UE actually I do think we get the UE the same patch, which is nice. So the UE actually increases the chance of the defense down by 15% on her S3. So this becomes an 85% chance to actually decrease defense on all enemies. It's pretty, assuming you hit, right? It's pretty insane. Pretty insane, right? And then on top of that, there's a 20% chance to cause greater defense down for 2 rounds. So assuming you land a defense down, that can turn into a greater defense down, which is even more of a defense increase on the enemy by 20%. So if you're hitting 4 targets, there's a chance you might land it on one of them. And that unit you landed on, man, they're going to get absolutely dominated. Assuming for PvP, right? And then whenever you do use S3, it cannot be counterattacked. So right off the bat, I think she's going to be a very nice opener. 117 base speed. I could be wrong. That seems pretty fast to me. So yeah, she's going to be pretty good for PvP, man. I can feel it. But PvE is definitely going to be her best place. Like Lobelia, right? You put her and Lobelia together. There's probably nothing you can't do with those two, right? You can even pair her with Base Lord. Very good for PvE right there. And this is the design for you curious souls. Very nice design. She has a blonde, like knightish aesthetic. Kind of reminds me of a character from Arc Knights. I don't know what their name is exactly, but yeah. I like the design. Pretty nice. Next up, we have Victoria. Victoria is going to be a 5-star assault fire unit. Red, molten, whatever you want to call it. She's going to be a DPS unit, okay? So, her S1 actually causes a poison corrosion. It's the same thing from Epic 7. So, meaning when an enemy takes a turn, they're actually going to take damage, right? Percentage of their health, because that's what poison or corrosion does. And it's a debuff, right? And then whenever she causes a dual attack, then she will hit 2 enemies instead of 1, right? So if you have any character that does dual attacks, I'm not sure who does dual attacks right off the top of my head, but if you hit with her, assuming that they, prioritize the highest attack unit, then she will hit 2 enemies instead of 1, right? So this is definitely like Spectre Tenebria, and the poison does go up to a 75% chance, which is poison is a very strong unit, very strong debuff, right? And then the 132% damage is pretty high. It's a pretty high multiplier. Okay, so Victoria's kit is based around her passive. So this passive right here, whenever an enemy or an ally dies, then Victoria will actually increase her attack and her defense by 6%. Now this goes up to 8% via the skill ups, and this will be further increased when we go down to the UE as well. But this stacks up to 5 times, and that will also be increased when we check out the UE. But that is not all. The best part about the actual S2 for Victoria, right, is that she has something called True Stealth. So this is going to be the only unit in the game that does have True Stealth, meaning if you have an ability that can target her through stealth, kind of like Yui, if you have an ability that can target Yui through stealth, right? So think of like Milim from Epic 7, right? You can target them through the stealth, right? And hit them with that ability or the passive, whatever you have in the kit. However, Victoria has true stealth, meaning no matter what ability you have, you cannot hit her unless she's like suppressed and her passive is like not into effect. You cannot hit her, right? The only way you can target her is by killing every single target enemy, right? All of her allies, kill all of her allies first, and then you can target her. Or you have to land AoEs, which is probably going to be the most effective way of taking down a Victoria. I hope that made sense, by the way. And then her S3 is a nice single target nuke, 180% damage to a single target, and for each debuff on a target, the damage increased by 20%. So if you have a lot of debuffs on an enemy target, this is going to do really huge damage, and it also stuns for 1 round with a 100% chance. Now you have to go through the resistance, the resistance and the innate resistance. Assuming you go through that, you will stun the target with a 100% chance. So there's no RNG in that, except for the innate resistance, of course, right? But if the target is killed, then 50% of all the allies that you killed, right? So the target you killed with the S3, all of that target's allies, right? The enemy team is going to have their action bar decreased by 50%, assuming that it doesn't get resisted, right? I have to say that for every single debuff in this game. And then this does go to a 4-turn, CD with the scopes, right? 106 base speed, so she's not going to be a very fast unit. You can still probably put in a fast team, but I probably suggest her in a bruiser, standard composition of a team. So like you put it with a knight, a cleanser. So I probably put it with like a Jessie, and then you put her with like a Cream or a Heron. Probably Heron, right? I think Heron would probably be best for her. And that being said, her UE, as I said before, will actually increase the piercing anguish right here, so that is passive. She'll get 8 stacks instead of 5 stacks, right? Which is the max. And on top of that, you will start the battle with 3 stacks. So right off the bat, you'll have 18% attack. You'll have 18% defense, right? So just right off the bat when you start the battle. And then you also get a 6% crit damage increase per stack. So you'll have an 18% crit damage increase when you start the battle. And when you go to max, it'll be a 48% crit damage increase. So you do not need to have her with max. I'd probably put her around 320 crit damage. Probably be my thing. And then, this is probably the best part. She will gain evasion during her own turn. So if you are hitting a stylet, right? If you are hitting a stylet, and the stylet hits you back, because you probably miss, right? Assuming you miss. Then you will get missed, right? So the attack that hits you will miss, because you have 100% evasion. So if you hit a stylet, and she counters and dodges, she does her thing, then she will also miss on you. And this, right? So whenever you get attacked during your turn, like a counterattack, Nud, stylet, any counterattacking unit, you will gain 1 stack of your passive. So that'll be the attack and the defense and the crit damage increase. And that is the UE. Very nice for PvP. Just very good, right? She'll be very nice in your bruiser compositions. So if you do have the spare change, honestly, at this point, if you have the spare currency in the game, definitely pick her up if you are a slower player. And this is the design for all of you that are curious. Very nice. I love these silver here. But, if you play Epic 7, she is literally Spectre TV all around. No different. And last but not least, I want to mention this really quickly before we do continue into the patch and the actual collab goes away, right? Because we'll go away in about a couple of days here, week or so. Remember, Claris is the only way. She will come by the end of this year. So if you are free to play, you're a light spender, I suggest you skip every other unit and prioritize Claris, because she will definitely change your account for good. Me personally, I'm going to summon for other units, and then if I don't get Claris, I'm going to cry about it. That's just how it goes for me here. But I really suggest you to skip every unit and prioritize Claris, because she's a very solid unit. Very solid. No, she's a fucking broken unit. That's what she is. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you all for watching. With that being said, if I had to prioritize 3 units for anyone that is a whale, if you are a heavy spender, if you spin and whatnot, you want to pick up some more waifus, I would definitely suggest Sakabula if you do not already have Madoka, or if you do not like Madoka's design, definitely get Sakabula. It should be very nice whether you play Cleave or you're going to play a slower team, right? Because that barrier is very, very good. And also, that being said, I prioritize Isabel second. She's a very nice PvE unit, pretty good for PvE, and a speedy composition, speedy control composition, right? Cleave even very, very good in that regard. And then for the probably really strong Cleave, actually, like really strong. And the third one will definitely be Victoria. She plays like Spectre Tenebria, so if you are a slower player, right, you could probably play under speedy comp, but she's mostly primarily played in a slower composition. Definitely get her. You'll probably build her in like lifesteal, right? Lifesteal, so she survives. She'll be a very solid unit for your team. Once you get the UE, of course, right? That makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace.